Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala sayyidil anbiya wal mursaleen wa ba'd. Every person who confesses and who acknowledges Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the final messenger Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, by this confession, by this acknowledgement, they are immediately targeted by shaitan as an enemy. This was the promise shaitan made to Allah when he was expelled to this dunya. And he said that, I will be waiting for insan at every turn. If he makes a left, I'm going to be there. If he makes a right, I'm going to be there. If he goes forward, I'm going to be there. Even if he goes back, I'm going to be there. In every direction, I'm going to attack him. But the focus of the attack, the primary target will always be the true believers. So by definition, as Muslims, we are the enemy of shaitan. And when you think about battle, warfare, when there's one side an enemy, one side another army, an army always wants to take out the most strategic target. In an army, in a battle, you want to take out the most strategic target. You have the infantry on the floor, on the ground, normal soldiers, foot soldiers. But then you have the general, you have the master planner behind. Shaitan looks at the ummah in a very similar way, where he sees people of different levels. One of the Sahaba would once say that فَقِيهٌ وَاحِدْ أَشَدْ عَلَى الشَّيْطَانِ مِنْ أَلْفَ عَابِدٍ. It was from one of the Salaf. Not a hadith, one of the Salaf, they would say that one person who has knowledge of the Deen, who has understanding of the Deen, he is a greater threat to shaitan than 1,000 people who have zero knowledge, but they spend their whole day in ibadah. Again, think about the analogy of war, where shaitan is looking at everybody as an enemy. A foot soldier is just another person. I can worry about 1,000 foot soldiers later. But that general, the mastermind planning everything, they know that in any battle, when the person holding the flag is brought down, the whole army is going to be brought down. Likewise, for shaitan, his biggest threat isn't a person who spends the whole time doing ibadah. It's the person who has knowledge, because the person who has knowledge does ibadah right. The person who has knowledge will call other people to do ibadah right. And as we read and we spoke about last night, their path to Jannah is much more clear. And as I mentioned yesterday, becoming a scholar doesn't mean I have to dedicate 15 years of my life. I can't say, oh, you know what, I'm 50 years right now, I'm 60 years old right now, where's my opportunity? We all have the opportunity to learn more, to educate ourselves more. Even if it means every week I'm just going to pick up one book and read more about the seerah. Even if I can't go that far, what I'm already doing, I'm praying salah. Let me learn more about salah. I'm reading Quran. Let me improve my recitation of Quran. I'm reading hadith. Let me increase the frequency of my hadith. On the day of judgment, we don't have an excuse to say, Ya Allah, I never got the opportunity. Think about the number of things we do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, where we have no reason to do it, but we're doing it anyways. Just because I spent 40 years of my life, or 50 years of my life, or 30 years of my life in a particular track because I didn't have that accessibility, does not give me the excuse now, where I'm 40, 50, 60, 70, to say, Ya Allah, I just don't have the time anymore. Again, nobody's saying I dedicate 10 hours, even if I dedicate 10 minutes, even if I dedicate 15 minutes a day to increase my knowledge. As we mentioned, at least we can hold on to the scholars and say, Ya Allah, I did a bit, make me among them. We learn from some ahadith, somebody who becomes a hafiz will get rewarded. But the person who attempts to become a hafiz, even if it's a small amount, and dies before becoming a hafiz, Allah will resurrect them among the huffaz. So if somebody tries to get more knowledge and maybe loses his life in the process, it's a 30-year project. And I pass away before that, at least, if not the highest category, at least the lowest category. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inspire us, to increase our knowledge. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to learn more about the Deen like we learn everything else in this world. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those people who enjoy learning about the Deen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.